Hi guys. Okay, so part 2. So this would be we're in Rasnalu, and we're up and running, and it's early morning starts. I mean, you kind of get up with the sun when you're over there. We've kind of braved the squatty potty by this stage. We're realizing, okay, there's no toilets, there's no hot running water. So yeah, but they still had a toilet block and things, which was really comfortable for us to use, which was fantastic. And you know, you just get used to, whew, I actually didn't have a shower the first day. I just kind of did the wipe down. It took me a day or two to actually really kind of get brave enough to have a cold shower. But we went up that morning, we went up to, after breakfast, a beautiful breakfast, we went up for a walk, for a hike, up the hill. And as we're hiking up this hill, it was great because, you know, there was people at all different fitness levels. You just go and follow. So it was like going up there with James, who is the paramedic. He was off and running. Teresa, she's fit. Teresa's fit, good girl. Who else? Oh, Debbie Young, who is Rob Young's wife. She's lovely, and her boys, Tom and Max. We had some great chats walking up the hill and learning about them, and like how their sport, like we were saying, imagine if these like downhill, like they do mountain biking, so like downhill runs and things. It's like, that would be pretty gnarly. But we're walking up, and you kind of go through little villages as you kind of walk up these hills on little goat tracks and things. And there's a main road that you can drive up to if you wanted to get to the village, but obviously we did the on the foot version. And it was just, I don't know, I loved it. I loved the fresh air. I loved the exercise. I loved using my body, and just, yeah, really feeling alive. I was really proud of myself, having really no issues with the altitude going up. Obviously, I think I did coming back down, but I felt amazing the whole time I was up there, which was good. I felt really fit, and I wasn't out of breath or anything. So that was just one thing I was concerned about, which I didn't need to be, which was nice. So we're kind of going up there, and we see like this little temple kind of things too, where they respect people who have passed away, and all sorts of things. And the villages are so well kept. They grow lots of barley and things. You'll notice, because the hills are so steep, that the soil is actually not that fertile in Nepal on the hills, because everything kind of goes down to the bottom. So when you look at the bottom of the valleys, they're really fertile where the rivers are and things, but the hills themselves, they terrace them. So they go terrace and then down, and then terrace and then down. So they really make use of every kind of bit of soil that they possibly can, and they're really self-sufficient. I mean, they've got power and all sorts of things up into the region that we were going. And so we went up there, and it probably took, I don't know, I have no idea how long it took. Could have been an hour, could have been 2. I was just enjoying the walk. We kind of got halfway, and we found wintergreen starting to grow, because it's wild grown. Obviously, it's not harvested, it's not planted and things. They actually just pick it from where it naturally grows, indigenously grows. And so it's like little clumps of it, and it's this beautiful green leaf with little red tips on it. And it's one of the lowest yield oils that doTERRA have. And so when we got to the village, we were going over creeks and rivers and little rickety bridges and all sorts of things. And we get up to the start of this village, and again, this is progression of people. And we're like, oh my goodness, it's happening again. And the drums start going, and kids are running everywhere, and more wreaths and more scarves and namaste, and they were just so happy to see us. So yeah, we all went through there, and then we sat down. They had the chairs all set, and they came in, they did their dancing, and there were some wonderful dancers. And then this lady pulled me up, and then we're dancing, and there was this old woman. And it's funny, they all dance different. They dance differently over there, and so you're just like copying. Like, what are you doing? Okay, you're doing that. Okay, I'll do that too. Okay, I can copy that, and then I kind of like doing that. This. I was like, okay, I can do that. Okay, yeah. So then we're dancing with the Nepalese, and yeah, it was just a surreal kind of fun experience. And then once all the kind of things were done, we went out a little bit and just kind of had a look at, so like, what's here. And up on the hill there was a little distillery, like a little black device thing, like it was a containery kind of thing, that used to be their first distillery for the wintergreen, and it was very small. Like it was, you know, it was like, it wasn't small, but it was pretty small. And it was just one all by itself up on the hill. I don't know if they still use it or not. It's not what they use now. And then there was fresh water, drinking water out of a tap, which they don't even have. Like Nepal don't have fresh drinking water. So I heard that this was one of the ones that doTERRA put in. Don't hold me to that, but I did hear that this is, because I know that they did that in Hayley and all sorts of things. They put fresh water in. So I just think, like, you know, whether it is or whether it isn't, I just think it's like, I thought, if that is one that doTERRA has put in, like that's cool. You know, that's pretty amazing. There's this little boy who would be no older than 6, just sitting there with the tap on, you know, like kids do at school, like drinking out of the water, you know, as kids do. And the luxury to just be able to stick your mouth under a tap and drink the water is awesome. You know, that's what Healing Hands is doing. That kind of stuff. They're giving kids water. They're giving people water so they don't have to, you know, hike for 2 hours to get it. You know, that kind of stuff, that life-changing kind of stuff. And then there was these 3 women with baskets of wintergreen who kind of came up, and it's just the start of the wintergreen season right now, so they're not even really into harvesting season yet. But they had some obviously to start harvesting for us. And they'd come in with the baskets on their back, and we're like, oh, can we feel how heavy they are? So we took it all in turns to put this basket on our back and feel the weight of them. And they're in between, I would say 20 and 40 kilos, depending on the size and how much you'd packed in. So not light by any means. And oh, the music's getting really going now. I might pause this and turn it down. Hang on. I'm back. Sorry, it's like boom, 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 boom. Bit noisy music. So, yeah, they'd come and they weigh it, like with the traditional scales with the little weights, and they go, okay, yep, you're this much, and they get paid on the spot. And then they dump the leaves out and off they go. So it's a pretty simple system, really. But the most interesting thing I learned was like how low the yield was, like seriously how low the yield is from wintergreen, which makes me appreciate it even more, considering it's like what it took for me to get to that village, and then it's like, well, hang on a second, that's what it takes in reverse to get the oil out to us. It's just phenomenal. So yeah, it's 750 kilograms of leaves to make 3 kilograms of oil. So 250 kilos per kilo of oil that it's created. That's phenomenal. That's crazy. Plus it's a 24-hour distillation process. So I've actually got a video which I'll put up. So you've got the big vats where they put a fire underneath and they heat up, and they which it allows the steam distillation to happen, and it goes up and down into another thing. And what happens is there's this little holding chamber, and takes the lid off, and it's like this milky water that you see on top. But the thing is that wintergreen, which is quite rare for an essential oil, is heavier than water. So most essential oils, when you drop them on top of water, they'll float, where wintergreen sinks to the bottom. So this is actually sunk to the bottom, and so they've got a pipe at the bottom with the faucet, and they turn it on, and that's where the wintergreen comes out. And you can watch it, like, because there's a few drops starting to come out and things, and so there's a man straight in there with another cup to catch it as it's coming out. They don't let any of this stuff go. This is liquid gold for them. This is amazing, beautiful, pure, you know, oil. And you put your finger in it, like this is purely like raw. You put your finger in it and it's silky, silky, silky. It's so silky. And it's got little bits of black, like it's got little bits of black, and it smells a little bit smoky from the fire and things. And obviously, like Rob was explaining, how when we get it, then it goes through a process just to make sure it's clean and all that kind of stuff, and it takes all those impurities out of it and all that kind of stuff, and just make sure everything's all spot on. So yeah, but it was really cool to feel it straight out of the little faucet there, and the smell was amazing. And it's such a simple process. The coolest thing I realized was that the system that they had was like a system they'd been using. It's just big, of those big black vats. It's just a bigger version of the small one on the side of the hill I saw earlier. So it's not like doTERRA came in and goes, okay, everyone's having stainless steel and electricity and all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, this is how they've done it forever. This is how we'll continue to do it. Let's just make it a little bit healthier. Let's get some ventilation going in here. Let's, do a few things to make it easier for you guys. But they can do the high-tech stuff, doTERRA, or they can work with what the people need to work with, because that's how they've always been doing it. So they're not coming in and changing how people do these things. They're just enhancing and giving them an opportunity to make an income for their family, which for me is just like, why can't every business do this? This is, well, I know why they don't, is because it takes a lot of time and effort and attention to detail and commitment from a company to be able to support farmers like they do in doTERRA. And for me, that just makes me appreciate and love the oils even more so, because I know what's being gone through to ensure that oil is the best that we can possibly have in the world. So it was, the community was so gracious and so happy to share and so excited to share this experience with us. And we weren't there for a long time, maybe an hour or so, because we had to go back down the hill, and I think we didn't get back until like 2. So then we had to have lunch. We hadn't eaten or anything like that. But yeah, it was just such a wonderful experience to see it firsthand. You see the videos. Everyone's seen the video for Wintergreen. If you haven't on YouTube, just watch it. That's a different village that they're in there, but everyone's been affected by the earthquakes. Like you still walk up and you see buildings half fallen down or with huge cracks in them. And one of the things that Choice Humanitarian are doing with Healing Hands in Rasnalu is rebuilding a school, and actually they'll be demolishing one of the buildings that we're staying in because there's cracks that are just unsafe now. They're just not worth keeping. So they're actually going to knock those down and rebuild that building as well. So there's lots of work to be done over this next year. That they say 6 months, but it's probably going to be more like 9, 10, maybe 12 months from now before it's finished. And yeah, so we kind of came back down the hill and had our lunch, and I'm trying to think what we did in the afternoon. I think that's when we started just doing a bit of work with, like, actually, going, okay, well, we're going to be doing some manual work now, and we did some work on the foundation for the school. So they had some Rio already set up, and they had a couple of footings, maybe 2 or 3 footings already concreted. But then I started to, because I've been around building houses before. One of my old jobs was actually working for a construction company in a remote Indigenous community in the middle of Northern Territory, and we were building houses for the Indigenous, and it was all concrete pour and concrete slabs and concrete tilt up. So I get it. The fact that I even know what Rio is crazy. And then when you see how they do it in Nepal, they don't even have a hammer drill. They don't have a jackhammer. They have one of the concrete turny things. Sorry, brain's dead. They have gravel. They have concrete mix. They have sand. They have stones. And all of these are trucked in, obviously, on that awful road that we came in on. So even just getting that to the site is a mammoth task. And then there's the system. So they've got these, like, I don't know, they're like a box with 2 bars on either side. So you're walking along and you're carrying this box like this, and the box is behind you and someone else is at the other end, and you're walking down and then you fill it up. And that's their measuring system. 2 of those to 1 of those to 1 of those. Okay, so 1 big rock to 1 little rock to 2 sands to 1 bag of concrete. In the hopper, off it goes, and turns it around, and out comes the concrete slab, like the mixture. Then how do you get it into the footings? Now, in most times, you would just get the pipe kind of thing and go kind of into the thing. Done. No. They have these little round dishes, probably the size of a large dinner plate. And they get the shovel and they put it onto the big metal dish, and then they pass it. One person to the next, down a line, pass it, down, down, down. And then they get to the bottom, into the footing. Okay, then the empty one goes back up and around, and then the next one comes in, back, empty one, and that goes on and on and on and on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dishes to fill up a footing. But you know what? It's the best fun. It was the best fun. Like, it was just like, roll up your sleeves, get it done. You know, I'm standing next to, the first guy I was handing it off to was Vishnu, who is probably, if you watch he's like a rock star in Nepal. Like, he's not physically a rock star, but he is an amazing man who's done amazing things in his life. Getting to know him, you know, he had gone to Russia on a scholarship to do civil engineering. He taught himself Russian. He finished top of his class, and he came back to Nepal to build houses and to do, you know, humanitarian work. You know, he's got the heart of like gold. I'm okay. So where do you want me? Okay, I'm down here, and I'm like, oh, hello. I was a little bit starstruck, but he's such a lovely, gentle, kind man. And so he puts up for knuckles, and I'm like, okay. So like we knuckle, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've got to do that again. So knuckle is like, yeah. So yeah, awesome like sense of humor. So yeah, we're just doing this and chatting, and you're chatting to all sorts of people. We were there with the Taiwanese people from doTERRA as well. I can talk about them on another session because they are awesome people. I really loved getting to know them and seeing how they use the oils and how they grow their business in China and Taiwan, which was really fascinating. But we got a few footings done that night in a couple of hours, and it's just great to see the teamwork. You know, it was just great to really see how many hands made light work. And probably the most surprised, I wasn't surprised, but I was like, Rob Young, he was just off and doing stuff. Like, he was sweating, and he was in there and shoveling and thinking. He wasn't asking, he wasn't talking to anyone. He was just getting it done. He was leading from the front. You know, there was no ego anywhere to be found with anyone on this trip. Everyone was just there to get a job done and to help and to make as much impact as we could possibly do in the short period of time that we were there. And for me, that was just awesome. So yeah, the next video I'll do is I guess I'll talk a little bit more about building the school, days for girls too. That's what we kind of did over the next day too, and integrating with the community and the village, because that was really fun as well. So I'll sign off for now, and I'll go into part 3 next. Okay, bye.